corrections so late, too late. Jean Meserve, CNN, Washington.
A look there at some of the challenges that are facing the business world and industry in the week ahead. Now back to Colleen in Atlanta. She's got more news on America's new war. Colleen.
All right. Thanks so much, Richard. Always good to see you. We've been telling you, of course, all morning here about the importance of Pakistan because of its border with Afghanistan and also its relationship with the ruling Taliban. The U.S. asking Pakistan for its support. And we want to take you right now to Tom Montier, who is in Islamabad. Tom.
Colleen, Pakistan has already pledged its support to the United States to do whatever is necessary. While they haven't spelled out the details of it, it's pretty clear that the cooperation, as President Musharraf has said, will be total, full, and complete. Joining us now is Imran Khan. Most people around the world know you as a cricketer, but you're a politician now. And you may be new to politics, but the reality is that President Musharraf is going to have a hard sell in this country to convince the public that he's made the right decision to go along with the United States. How difficult?
Extremely hard to sell it to the public because the majority of Pakistanis would have liked to have stayed out of this. It's a no-win situation for them because once they get involved, which they have, and if the air bases are used, which there's every possibility now, that means war against Taliban. And war against Taliban means that we have almost a 1,400-mile border with Afghanistan. We have 1 million refugees, Afghan refugees in Pakistan. We have religious groups that have supported the Taliban. And we have an element in Pakistan which will immediately turn against the United States.
Do you think the president made the wrong decision? Do you think there was anything else he could do?
I don't think he had much choice. I think he was coerced into this. Pakistan is bankrupt, economic sanctions, perhaps even bombing was threatened. I just didn't think he was left with much choice.
He's meeting today with political, religious, media leaders of this country. What is he doing? Is he trying to justify his action in the public's eye?
Yes, we are meeting him today, and we'll find out what were the sort of pressures he was under, and he'll explain to us. And I guess try to mobilize the public behind his move.
How about the public sentiment toward the Taliban, toward Osama bin Laden in this country? There are long ties, long relationships. There are a lot of religious fundamentalists in this country who see what President Musharraf has done as totally contrary to what they believe in.
Well, let me first say that there's unanimous feeling that the people who perpetuated those horrors, terrorist horrors in the United States should be punished. People are unanimous. But, to convince the people that Osama was involved, some hard facts and evidence should have been shown here. Perhaps on television, perhaps General Musharraf should go to the public and tell them about his involvement. Only then will there be less of a backlash. Otherwise, the feeling is that this awful incident has been used to settle scores against the enemies of the United States, which Taliban profess to be.
A couple of days ago, someone told me that the Taliban, a political analyst here in Pakistan, said unless the Taliban wants to be bombed back into the Stone Age, they need to hand him over and end this without taking more losses. Can that happen? Is there a diplomatic solution?
Well, that would be a solution that would create the least bloodshed. It would certainly be a solution that would save Pakistan from a possible backlash.
Okay, Imran Khan, thank you very much for joining us. Some very difficult decisions, some very tough talk going on right now at the president's office, where he is taking at least the leaders of the media and the religious community and the political community into his confidence. But as Mr. Khan just said, he's going to have a very difficult time selling it to the public. Colleen?
Indeed, Tom Montier, thanks very much. We want to take you back to New York again for a moment. You see all the buildings in that area around where the World Trade Center was. Well, those are other businesses and people's homes. And people, of course, have had to stay away since the attack occurred. But now they're slowly being allowed to return to their homes and their jobs near the site of the World Trade Center. Brian Palmer reports now on how they find their worlds forever changed.
This morning I'm standing by the door there and I hear the plane. I look up and I just see this huge explosion.
Film producer Kevin Segala saw the obliteration of a landmark from his terrace with his one-year-old son Griffin. Segala and his wife Michelle returned to their apartment for the first time.
My life the moment that plane went into the building, really pretty much stopped. I think everybody's lives have stopped. I don't live here anymore. I haven't been to work again.
This was the view from his terrace that day. This is the view now. The area around Ground Zero covers about 5 square miles and was home to roughly 50,000 people. When the towers collapsed, the familiar rhythm of life stopped in this corner of Manhattan. The West Side Highway, one of the main roads downtown, now the primary route for the massive recovery operation, as well as a staging area for the effort, complete with a mobile animal hospital. On the once bustling street corners of fashionable Tribeca, military checkpoints. 20 miles of high-voltage cable, all installed since Tuesday, snake through the streets of Lower Manhattan. Shuttered stores and a few reminders of the devastation just 7 blocks away. Few shoppers, many curious passers-by and shell-shocked residents, many moving in with family and friends north of the area.
Everyone is so focused on the rescue that all of us in the neighborhood who are displaced, are really secondary. And that's how it should be, except we don't know what to do. So we're hoping to try to organize amongst ourselves.
Every bit of activity out there is geared towards this disaster. And, you walk out there and you can't get it out of your head if you're seeing it every second.
Seeing it every second, living like this for months. Normal life, as it was before, likely years away. Brian Palmer, CNN, New York.
Now, of course, nearly 5,000 people are still missing after Tuesday's attacks, but friends and relatives have not yet given up hope. The focus of their efforts to find their loved ones is in New York City Armory, where details of the missing are registered. Now, joining us from there, CNN's Michael Oku. He's been there for some time. Michael, what is the latest?
Michael, it occurred to me that at times like this, we talk so often about numbers, but it's something that we in the media have to do, and I suppose in some ways it helps remind us that there are so many extraordinary tales to tell, so many stories worth telling. 4,900 people, or over 4,900 people, buried under the ash and rubble of the World Trade Center, and possibly tens of thousands of people, relatives, connected to them, hoping against the slimmest bit of hope that they are still alive, and trying in some way to find some measure of resolution. And to do that, they come here to the Armory at Lexington Avenue and 26th Street, the emotional Ground Zero. Here they basically fill out 7-page forms where they're asked to give details about identifiable traits of their loved ones. Everything from scars, recognizable scars, strange scars, to their hair color, to their eye color, to the kind of nail polish they like to use. They're either, in the end, on a list of those people who were taken to the hospitals, or they officially get put on the list of the missing. Since Thursday, some 3,100 people have passed through these doors, and yesterday, the New York City Department of Health announced that a company, one of the largest medical lab companies in the country, called LabCorp, was offering free DNA collection that may ultimately help rescue workers identify some of the bodies. They are asked to provide toothbrushes, hairbrushes, samples of saliva from the closest blood relative. Earlier tonight, I spoke to one young woman who is missing her stepsister.
Hope is still there, but it's dwindling fast. I keep hearing reports of bodies found, of, unidentified bodies, and every time I hear that, I say, oh my God, could she be one of those people? And my only thought is right now that I just hope that they find herself to give us that closure if it gets to that point. I just hope that we can get that closure as a family and move on from there and mourn her together.
Michael, there is a lot of love here. There are relatives, of course, who traveled here together to try to reach some sense of resolution. And there are other families who see other families in need and sometimes run into New Yorkers, other pedestrians who just happen to be walking in the neighborhood. And there's a great deal of emotional outpouring. So there's love here, but if you look at the headlines this morning, the New York Post, the local tabloid here in New York, war. And on the Daily News, again, we're at war. In the coming days, you will probably hear the word closure, but here at the Armory on Lexington Avenue, nobody will return back to normal. Michael?
All right, Michael Oku, as always, thanks very much there at the Armory, bearing witness to sadness and some hope. Michael, thanks. Colleen?
Well, you know, and when you see the people there, you sometimes wonder how it is that they can keep their hope. We want to bring you a Bruce Burkhart story now, an account of persistence and diligence that unfolded right before our eyes. Watch.
Another day in the Red Cross shelter in Gramercy Park for Rose Franklin. Another day wondering what happened to her husband, Harry.
I hear a bang.
On Tuesday morning, Election Day in New York, Rose and Harry were working as volunteers at the polling station on Chambers Street, just a few blocks away from the World Trade Center.
I go out and I see all that smoke.
While Harry stayed inside, Rose wandered outside to check out the big boom. She wandered too far. By the time she tried to return, chaos had taken over and she was swept up in the stampede.
Kept pushing everybody up north, up north, up north.
Now confused and wondering where her husband was, the 81-year-old Rose stumbled along for 2.5 miles before winding up at a shelter. It was there that she met a volunteer named Sergio, or as Rose calls him, her angel.
At the beginning, she was one more person there. Slowly you get together and you talk, which is really the only thing you can do.
At first, Rose said she had no family, but after warming up to Sergio, said she had a son in Boston. Though she didn't know his phone number or where he worked, Sergio tracked him down. It paid off. The son reported he had received 2 messages from his father. He said he was alive and well, but the message didn't say where he was.
He's not sure how to talk to an answering machine, and he's probably pretty confused.
He's always been on these heart pills because he had a triple bypass. So I've never known him to be without those pills.
Sergio tried everything, searching shelters, hospitals.
Then I went to the Armory hoping that he would be there looking for her. He wasn't.
So that was to be our story. A couple in their golden anniversary year separated by tragedy. The end. Well, not quite.
We got him.
What?
He left a message on my phone.
The husband did?
Yeah.
Sergio, who just a few minutes before this had left the shelter, came running back to tell Rose the great news. Harry had left a message.
Okay.
Harry, it turns out, had been hunkered down in the couple's apartment in an evacuated zone near the Trade Center. Without electricity, without water, Harry didn't know whether Rose was alive or dead. No one thought to look for him there.
Where's she?
Sergio and Red Cross officials then produced their version of when Harry met Rosie.
I didn't really lose it. Hey, sweetheart, come in.
It was Sergio's notice in the Armory that did it when it happened to show up in a local TV news report. A neighbor saw it and told Harry.
I didn't know where you were, but I would never have gone home. After I met Sergio, we'd get home.
For Sergio, confirmation of his notion of what volunteering is all about.
We have to concentrate on the small things. Go to a place, and when you find somebody sitting down, sit down by their side like I did and talk to them. And you might be surprised of the information that you can get. And just one person, stick with that person, and with that information, you can make a miracle happen.
Where's Sergio?
Sergio was with me.
Right here.
I saw you. They left a message.
Bruce Burkhart, CNN, New York.
There you have a reason for hope.
Indeed.
Well, CNN's coverage of the U.S. terrorist attacks is going to continue right now with Jim Clancy and Relisa Vasileva. We're done here.
We are done for the night. As Colleen and I leave you, we're going to leave you also with some pictures shot immediately after the second airliner hit the World Trade Center. More chilling images at the end of a week of chilling images. Stay tuned to CNN.